Let's get to it then. John Rowe versus Aaron Davies is next. John Rowe has barely moved in the time since we last saw him. Aaron Davies, his opponent, next up in the Ultimate Pool Champions League. And Aaron, in contrast to John, played pretty well in his first match. John obviously didn't, but Aaron really didn't do a whole lot wrong against Juhasz. He found himself just on the wrong end of a pretty good performance from the Jackal, but the Cyborg right there is broken badly and has given John, well, let's call it a chance in the first frame here in this match, in this must-win game for the pair of them. It's not a particularly presentable chance, and the reason why I say that is just look at the 8-ball, which John's gone after straight away. Great shot. Has he got another one to play next?
Yeah, possibly not. Had to attack it early. I was just wondering whether there was a way of playing. See, there's a little cluster of 3. Now, if he plays down and gets plays the plant on the right-hand one of those 3, then plays one of the other 2 off the yellow, it would open up the 8-ball. But John decided to go straight into it, which is always a good idea, is to attack that bad ball early, but it just didn't work.
A little unlucky here. I like the thinking. Just needs to be a little bit thinner with the contact on that initial red.
I agree with what you're saying about Aaron, though. He, apart from the ball off the ball that he missed, chasing it with only seconds to go in the first match, he really didn't do anything wrong. Josh played a great match and took his opportunities, so Aaron shouldn't be too disheartened by the way he played, and he's been successful in these Monday nights. He knows what it takes to come through groups, and there is time. If he wins this one, then who knows what can happen from there, so just has to keep grinding.
Well, he's got a stellar record in the Champions League, because Aaron Davies been to 2 finals nights. There's been to the final as well. It was at the semi of the very first Champions League, where he's beaten in a 6-round shootout, I think it was, against Chris Melling, the eventual winner, and then got through his semi-final a year later, only to run into Stevie Dempsey. Had a very, very tough first shot there, Aaron. Missed the plant, and there's no shame in that. It was a really tough one. John calls his extension, and has a pretty good opportunity here to get moving on reds.
Got to be careful with this shot. Gets this one right, though. It could be fairly simple from here. Yeah, that was really well played.
Yeah, the key there was the first red. Where did that end up? And he's judged it perfectly.
Yeah, very easy for that to go off and tie itself up, or trying to keep it, in play. You actually end up missing the plant. Made the plant in the side of the pocket, which was by design, and now he can just figure out which way around he wants to go. Key being getting onto the 8-ball, because it doesn't go in its sort of, with all the reds on that side of the table, its natural home would be the bottom left corner. John might have come half a turn too high up the table. He wants enough angle to stun across the red so he can take the red in the bottom right. Makes it easy getting on the 8-ball. He might have gone too far, has he? If he's gone too far, he may have to just leave an awkward 8-ball. He's gone far enough that he can possibly force this one across. Maybe hit that one quite a bit, to be fair.
Yeah, as you can tell. So just settles for a thin cut. He knows the cue ball's pretty safe with where those yellows are. Just has to make the 8. Make it. He does. Excellent shot in the end from John Rowe. Talked earlier, didn't we, about Aaron's demeanour around the table. You're never really in doubt with what John's thinking.
Yeah, obviously those that watch a lot know that I find sort of sports psychology fascinating, and your personality on the table is your personality on the table. But I do just wonder whether, if John was more, inwardly he might be really positive out there, but he always looks negative, always looks down on himself, always looks frustrated. And I just wonder if changing that, trying to show the world that you're positive about it, maybe it helps you feel more positive. But it's the way he's always been. It's starting to warm up the break. Cue ball was close. Wasn't going in. The layout is not good. This is one of those that you don't even take on. You don't even think aggression here. It's how do you pull back? How do you... In the end, you probably end up just playing a little bit of a containing shot, almost teasing Aaron into going. No, full-blooded. He's going for it.
Love that.
So that tells me that there's probably quite a bit of room to get on the yellow nearest the right centre pocket. Yeah, you can just see him lining that up. And when he plays that shot, the red goes into the red-yellow together. Now, that yellow doesn't need to move too far. But he hasn't got there. Yeah, needed about another 3 or 4 rolls on that, at least. Does have to pull back, but it's a pretty good table for him to pull back on. Reds are not good at all. Choosing to tie the yellow up even more, and I think he is teasing John into going. It's the same solve for John, it's just an extra red in there, meaning that yellow, rather than just having to move a few turns out to be on, now it's got to sort of force its way through a couple of reds. John's not going to fall for it.
Big frame, it feels like this now.
Aaron's teasing again. Will John be tempted this time? No. Why didn't Aaron play the loss of turn in the middle here, get rid of one of the yellows? He's more than happy just to leave pots on, so he's not worried about the path of the cue ball. Just make the red-yellow plant in the middle of the table. Well played shot. First 2 safety shots from Aaron were containing because he had no other option. This time it's a first sign of an aggressive safety shot, and that's what that is. It's progressing the frame along.
Yeah, it's what we often talk about, isn't it, with the safety battles, is it's such an attacking rule set generally, but you can manipulate that. It doesn't have to be. You just always got to be moving forward, however incrementally it may be.
How about a 3-ball plant loss of turn here? So it's very, very off angle, so I'm not expecting Aaron to play it, but I mean, if he's comfortable that the cue ball's not going to do any damage with those 2 reds and yellow on the right hand side, he might be tempted, but I don't think it would be. The cue ball would be going the opposite way. No, in the end he decided against it. I suppose the risk with playing it, I threw it out there as a little bit of a throwaway kind of idea, but the risk of playing it is if he did take that on, the cue ball would have gone to the left-hand side. The yellow, if it goes close to the pocket but doesn't go in, there was a chance that Aaron leaves the yellow on, but with an angle to play the breakout with power. And it's just not a risk that's worth playing for what was a super low percentage loss of turn shot. I think this was okay.
It's touching cushion.
Interesting one here.
In fact, both players are saying it's touching the cushion, so there's no need to check, because if it's touching the cushion, then it's definitely reached.
Yeah, I believe this is being reviewed. All the while, John is conducting his own review out there on the table, which I like. Here we go. This is a call that we're going to look. It looks like we've just seen it backstage. Our referee, Orich Tescold, having a little look. I think he's happy.
Yeah, in fact, I just caught him as he was reviewing that, and he was saying it wasn't just the loss of turn. He wanted to just check it wasn't a double hit or a push or anything like that, which can happen when you're playing it so slowly. But everything was fine there.
I suppose from Orich's perspective, that's so many things he's looking for in one shot that I think he just wanted to be absolutely certain.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I wasn't sure of was the yellow touching the cushion or not. Obviously, it clearly wasn't. So, tell you what, we're halfway through this match now. This frame is, neither player is being prepared to take anything on, and I don't blame them. So, how does this frame progress right now?
Good question.
Did like that if you missed it. Referee Orich just having a bit of fun with John saying that the ball was touching the cushion, which obviously everybody is fully aware of. Which is normally what the referee would do, by the way. If it's touching a cushion and the player might play it, they would actually just identify that.
No intention to spot that from John.
This time there's a potential loss of turn on playing the red-yellow plant, and the cue ball will be going to the right-hand side, so he wouldn't be as worried about the leaving the pot on with a potential cannon angle, so he might take it on this time. I'll be surprised still, but potential option. I think he'd have to play it too pacey, which is why he wouldn't. No attempt for the loss of turn at all.
Oh, this might take a minute to solve. And when I say a minute, I mean several.
I mean, John would take the next 8.5 minutes, wouldn't he? Let's slow this one down.
You're probably right.
At some point, though, Aaron needs to kind of catch himself. John can happily slow this down as long as he likes because he's in front. Aaron at some point has to realise he needs to win 2 frames, not 1. That's going to be the challenge for Aaron, is that he has to make that. If this continues the way it's going, he has to be the aggressor. I quite like playing the red-yellow and just nudging that yellow down to the bottom right-hand corner. I suppose that his risk is, the bonus is the fact that he shouldn't leave anything on, but he leaves a red over the right centre as a breaker ball. He has left a ball on, but he wanted to make sure the cue ball reached the cushion so he didn't give away a foul. The risk being that John could be aggressive, so he could pop this one down the cushion. The problem he would have is he would be leaving his breaker till his last shot. He'd have to play the one on the cushion, the one bottom left, to get onto the one at the top of the table with an angle to break it out. So it would be a risk, and a risk I'm not sure is worth taking if I'm John Rowe. Aaron might go. I'll be surprised if Aaron doesn't go here. He can.
I think he has to.
Yeah, he's got 2 ways of breaking into the problem area, and he's got an easy pot top left.
John is baiting him into doing this, and I always think there's an element of don't do what your opponent wants you to do. But
I don't know. I think John might have been trying to get a snooker on this ball. This was the ball he was worried about leaving on, and I think he wanted the 8 ball to be his blocker.
Long way off that, if so.
Yeah, I agree. It's just too risky to bait him, but I actually think Aaron's not played the best of shots. I think Is he straight enough on the one top right to play the cannon with pace?
I don't think so.
I think he can definitely get into the red, but he'd have to hit it quite slowly. And he's not on the one to right centre to play the breaker, so we'll see. We'll know after this shot. It's just too much angle. And he hasn't got the angle this time, so if John was baiting him into it, it's working.
Well, he has a double.
He played for the double rather than trying to play on the angle on the red.
Yeah.
To be fair to him.
This would open everything up, but it's all your eggs in one basket. And that will do. Lovely shot. So that being said, everything worked out fine. He's actually played a couple of nice shots back to back here, really, Aaron Davies. And just from that expression from John Rowe, I do just wonder if you're right in your assumption that he didn't want to bait Aaron.
I'm shocked. I'm almost certain he wasn't. He must have been playing the block.
Just quite a surprisingly poor shot in that sense. Oh, missed his mark, which admittedly wasn't massive, but missed it by a long, long way.
Yeah. Yeah,
this frame that didn't look like it was ever going to end at one stage is going to be won by Aaron Davies, and with 5 minutes left, clock will stop here at the 5-minute mark for the racking of the balls. When the players next comes to the table, it will be a 15-second shot clock, and remember, it's a must-win match for both of them.
Take nothing away from Aaron for that clearance, though. If he was trying to get an angle to break him out, then he didn't get it. Now Aaron's so good that maybe he was always playing for this double, and he's very, very confident at his doubles. He'll back himself as amongst anybody in the game when it comes down to playing doubles. So he might have seen that double very early and didn't land on it on his shot originally, and then replayed on it. So I don't think he was ever thinking breaker, which, you know, credit to him, he picked that apart beautifully.
Yeah, I think so. Right, then 5 minutes left, 15-second shot clock time, must win.
Oh, no way.
And that is tough.
How? How on earth has that happened? I mean,
yeah, that's tough. I mean, that's so tough. How many kisses do you want?
Oh, dear me. Who'd be a pool player?
Not much time for John to work this one out. The obvious problem is on the left side of the table. Options on both reds and yellows, but it looks like reds will be the choice.
I think yellows are the set, assuming the yellow on the left-hand side goes. But didn't have a good first ball. Could have played the one right centre, but only from high, which isn't a good angle. And that yellow does go, so oh, he's missed that by a long way. These yellows look good now.
Yeah, don't they just? That feels like a big miss. John did say that he felt like he was coming in tonight a little undercooked, and
I have to say, my immediate thought was yellows. Obviously didn't have a good first yellow, but just in analysing it a few extra seconds, and of course we've got to work it out at 15 seconds a shot as well as the players, that 8 ball does go left centre, and that he could have left the red bottom right as his last ball. So if he makes that one down the cushion, you'd back him to get out. Disappointing thing is he missed that one down the cushion by quite a long way, really, because he was quite nice on it.
Yeah, it was essentially cash ball in the frame, wasn't it, that red? And, you know, I think 9 times out of 10, John will be pretty pleased to have that to look at as cash ball. A lesser spotted moment for the Spider. Don't see that used on the 7x4 very often, but it's used well.
Not that well. He wanted to cannon on the 8 ball and he's not got it. He hasn't got a next shot. John might get back to the table here.
That did not miss by much.
Now, does John have a good shot on? Can he see the one past? Yes, he can. So he can see the one bottom right. I'm not sure if he can drop it in and hold on the red at the bottom, or if he has to come twice across. It's the twice across shot. So Aaron has had his chance to win it which essentially is what this feels like right now.
Yeah, what have we got? 6 balls to pot for John Rowe, including the 8 ball.
This is a slightly awkward angle.
Oh, he's done well to get there. He'll take that.
He'll be over the moon. The red nearest the cue ball now is actually awkward. It's not terrible because it does go. It has pockets. It's just awkward enough that he's not guaranteed here at all.
Yeah, need to plan for it. That is the bare minimum.
It's not exactly natural connections here. And that's quite straight.
He's not going to have a huge amount of room here.
No. He was pulling back to play the combo as well.
It's another jarring miss though for John.
Plenty of time for Aaron here with a minute left.
There's not been much in this match. Both players have had one chance to win it in this frame. It is John's break next. He may need it, but it won't really help him too much. Remember, it's a must-win match for both of these two.
Aaron's just got to get it down below the 30, which he will. Doesn't really need to run the clock down all the way here, just make the pot.
All right, then Aaron Davies goes 2-1 in front. 20 seconds remaining. Time for one more break and that's it. And, well, that's not the face of a man with a huge amount of optimism.
No, he knows he should have won that frame. He had 2 chances. First one was all about the pot down the cushion, which he got wrong. Second time round, he just never got the cue ball into a nice position, so he was just always trying to connect together bad balls and forced the miss in the end. But player at John's level, I know it's at 15 seconds a shot, so you kind of got to be careful with the criticism, but a player at John's level would have expected to win that frame on both occasions.
I think a player of John's level would be disappointed with the 2 missed pots more than anything.
True.
On a really basic level.
Yeah.
Massive break, threw everything at it, but lost control of the cue ball. 8 ball remains where it is. So Aaron Davies is going to win the must-win match, and he stays alive in the Champions League. Doesn't matter how many frames you win, just that you win. And Aaron Davies has done just that. He gets the win over John Rowe. No path to qualification now for the ringer, but the Cyborg is still alive in the Champions League.